Freedom of speech. I guess what we've seen in the last couple of weeks is some terrible discourse and issues around freedom of speech. So, are we really allowed to say what we think? Does it get us cancelled or removed? Let's take a look in this video and unpack some of the things that have gone on. Okay, so as we have seen, and obviously the most important thing that we have seen in the last week and a half is the value of freedom of speech, the value to say what we think, and as a Christian, to be able to spread the gospel and to stand firm on the things that we believe that are extremely political, but to be bold and to stand up for our faith. Joshua 1:9 says, "Be strong and courageous," or that's what God said to Joshua before he went into the promised land. Now, obviously, this goes for both sides. We need to be able to have that political debate. We need to be able to debate that in a way that, unfortunately, what happened to Charlie, we don't want these political debates or our disagreements or views on things to end with a shooter using violence. That is the most abhorrent way for that to happen. Now, we've seen so much of the comments going on and so much of horrible things. We saw people celebrating, people dancing, people saying good riddance, and so many other things. And it was revolting. It was absolutely revolting, some of the things that people said. Now, when to celebrate death is just a really abhorrent thing. I think no matter what side of the divide we are on, we should not be celebrating anybody's death, no matter what they believe, whether they are on the right or whether they're on the left. We should have open discussions, whether we disagree or not. Now, one of the other things that I saw this week was Jimmy Kimmel got suspended. So he got suspended for making comments on air about. It wasn't necessarily about Charlie Kirk, from what I've seen. He was more criticizing Trump, I believe, and he was talking about the response of Trump, not Kirk. So now I've had a look at what he said, and to me, I didn't think it was actually that bad. And I, like, obviously, I am a supporter of Charlie Kirk. I'm a conservative and I'm a born again Christian. But I just, the way that he didn't actually bag out or make fun of Charlie Kirk, from what I could see anyway. And yes, it's a terrible thing for things that he was saying, but I don't think he was actually pointing at Charlie himself. Not with some of the other people I've seen. It's just revolting, some of the other people think, and he wasn't actually really saying anything about Charlie. So for him to be suspended, I disagree with it, because people on the right side of politics have been saying for a long time, and I totally agree that we shouldn't be getting cancelled for saying what we think. And it's happened too much on the left, where there has been lots and lots of people on the left that are trying to cancel people on the right. And I completely disagree with it. And as we should. But after all this has happened, we shouldn't be then cancelling everybody who is on the left side of politics. It's not okay. It's not the right thing to do. And I'll go through some examples in 1 Peter 3 a little bit later in this video, but I just want to show you what Barack Obama has said on his tweet. And I don't was never really much of a supporter of Barack Obama. I was in the middle. I didn't care much for him, and I wasn't really against him that much either. But I was against him on quite a few things that didn't align with Christianity, of course. But I guess this is an amazing tweet. And he said, "This commentary offers a clear, powerful statement on why freedom of speech is the heart of democracy and must be defended. Whether the speaker is Charlie Kirk or Jimmy Kimmel, MAGA supporters or MAGA opponents." And I think he's nailed it right on the head there. Because, yeah, it is about having an opinion and being able to speak, whether you are Charlie Kirk, Jimmy Kimmel, on the right or on the left. And it was a beautiful statement what he said. And I think we need to defend that. We need to really defend that and really uh, make sure that we can have discourse and we can have agreements, we can have disagreements, we can have all these types of things. And I think I just saw this great video this morning. It was Rainn Wilson and Mark Ruffalo on a podcast, and what they said was just great. Now, I won't play the audio, but I'll just play you with it with commentary, and we'll have a look.
Country is being torn apart in so many different ways. While I didn't agree with his ideas, shooting someone that we disagree with, even if they're vociferous and loud and out there, is so colossally wrong-headed.
Yep, totally
I
is.
spoke to a couple of, let's say, some liberal friends last night at an event, and they were like, "You won't find me shedding any tears," and someone else was like, "Oh, well," it was a little bit of a kind of a good riddance thing, and it's like, guys, no,
Yeah, I know.
no, we cannot think or talk that way.
Not at all.
That is not
It's
okay.
so dangerous, man.
What a great statement. And Rainn Wilson is on the left, and what a statement that he said was, we cannot go into that. We cannot denigrate so much that we are cancelling each other for our views. We need to have debate. We need to have healthy debate. But that's what freedom of speech is. Even if people on the left that I completely disagree with say something, they have a right to say it. Now, of course, as I said, it goes to a point where it's a bit, it ends up being horrible, such as when people are laughing and celebrating someone's death. That has gone too far. But when we're having disagreements over something, that is okay. And we should be able to do that. And I think the left for too long have tried to cancel people on the right. And now that the right have, well, we've seen how much that this Charlie Kirk thing has affected people, and rightly so, because, but we can't then just turn around and cancel people on the left, because that's what we've wanted, is for freedom of speech, and freedom of speech means that freedom. Now, what has happened with Charlie is horrible, and yeah, it's just, as I've said in another video, it's wrong, and it's horrible, and I feel for her family. But from it, we've seen that people are standing up and being bold now. We've had church attendances last week had just grown dramatically, and so the effect of it is that people are now realizing that we can't be in the middle. I saw Forrest Frank, who is a Christian singer. He said, "I'm not going to be lukewarm anymore. I'm going to just go straight in, all in for God." And he lost 30,000 followers for that. So people are just realizing that they need to be bold for Christ. And that's why I was reading 1 Peter 3 earlier, and I love it. It's just 1 Peter 3 in verse 8 says, "Finally, all of you, have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. Do not repay evil for evil, or reviling for reviling. But on the contrary, bless, for to you this is what you are called, that you may obtain a blessing. For whoever desires to love life and see good days, let him keep his tongue from evil, and his lips for speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil and do good. Let him seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil." Now, who is there to harm you if you are zealous for what is good? But even if you should suffer for righteousness' sake, you will be blessed. Have no fear of them, nor be troubled, but in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason. And that's exactly what Charlie did. He had a defense for everything, and he was bold. He had no fear, and he honored Christ because he was a believer. And I think that was just brilliant. And in 1 Peter 3, that's what we need to do. We need not fear, and we need to believe that God is sovereign and God is in control. And we need to healthily debate people that we disagree with. And that's what freedom of speech is. It is the not denigrating into insults or abhorrent celebration when something bad happens to someone else. No, that's not what we should be doing. We should be loving on them as Christ has done. Now, obviously, we don't want those people to stay in sin. We want them to be saved and to turn away from the beliefs that they have. But you don't do it by denigrating into violence. We do it by debate, and healthy debate, and showing people how to live in a godly way. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers!